Hello, everybody. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. So good to be here with you all. This is Neil with Portal to Ascension. Extremely exhausted. Got back here at 4 a.m. yesterday. Rolled out of bed an hour ago. Ran to get some coffee. I'm back here now, but the show must go on. And I'm really excited for today's event. It is something that is symbolic. I don't think we've ever done an event on January 1st. And it's not only that, it's symbolic for the theme of the year. The reason why we're doing this event is because at Portal to Ascension, we are dubbing this year Galactic Origins Year, and we have a lot of amazing information, awareness, consciousness coming out in regards to the reality, the fact that we are not alone in the universe. This year is the year we've been waiting for. Every year we've been waiting for every year, right? But this year, what is in store? The Senate hearings that are going to happen again, the congressional hearings, another couple of them happening, the skiffs that are going on behind closed doors in order for more information to come out, the whistleblowers that are revealing the truth, the reality that very soon, everybody in the world is not going to just theoretically know that, yeah, the universe is a really big place. So of course we're not alone in it, right? It's going to go from that to, yeah, the universe is a really big place and we know we are not alone in it. We have been visited, and we're continuing to being visited. And all the information that's coming out on the mainstream that has been behind the scenes in this world that we've been in for quite some time, and that has been considered fringe, is going to be accepted as the norm. The paranormal is becoming the normal, right? So if we can create another theme for the year, let's make the paranormal normal, right? So I hope you all had a beautiful yesterday, whether you spent time by yourself, or whether you went out and had some fun with some family, friends, and partied a little bit, but just the intention really for what we want to cultivate this year. So I'm excited just to be here with you guys on this first day. And let's do it like this. We can create this ceremonial today. I think we should start out with an intention setting. First of all, I want to say hello to everybody on the Portal to Ascension podcast, because we're also going to be on the podcast. Everybody on YouTube and Facebook and Twitter. What we're going to be doing is we're removing this whole thing off YouTube in a day, and we're going to relaunch it presenter by presenter, right? Because that's the best way with the algorithms to get it out to more people. So just to let you know, that's going to happen. If you want to sign up for the replay and be able to actually watch this presentation on our website, go to portaltoascension.org, upcoming events, and then right there is the first event. Go ahead and sign up. So before we do an intention setting, and we get into the first speaker today, I want to hear from you guys, see all these chats coming in. So I'm just going to pull up some chats here and just say hello to everybody. Hello, Riva. Good morning to you. Lorenzo, thank you so much for being here. Steve. I think it'll be fun for when we do the intention settings. If you want, put your intention in the chat. And let's go ahead and throw some of these intentions up here. But we'll do like a little breath work, and then we'll go into that. Hello, Kelly. Susie, I love you so much. Good to see you here. Hello, Lisa. Happy New Year. Oh, and we started at 10:10 Pacific time. All right, everybody. So today we have 4 guests, as you may know, as you probably don't know if you're just tuning in on YouTube. And we're going to do 30 to 40 minute epic downloads on how to prepare for ET contact, because the theme is not just moving to the next year, but it's also moving away from, are those lights in the sky? What are they? Or is that a foreign adversary? Is that China? Is that Russia? To the fact that we all know that there's something going on beyond, it possibly being a foreign adversary. And just to speak on that for a second, right? These sightings have been going on for thousands of years. When it comes to congressional hearings and the governments, they've said that they have records over 100 years, right? Do you think that these foreign adversaries had this craft 100 years ago? I mean, come on, it's logic at this point. So let's move this conversation to something else, because very, very soon we can be in a world where we're interacting with extraterrestrial interdimensional life, right? That world is like at our fingertips. And are we going to create it? Are we going to manifest it? That's going to be up to us. On some level, I think it's inevitable, right? So let's take a moment now How perfect is it? We started at 1:11 East Coast time. We started at 10:10 Pacific time ish. Okay. So I would like to invite you all to go ahead and close your eyes. And just take some breaths with me. Just on your own time, just take 3 deep breaths and hold it into your heart for a few seconds, and then just let it go out of your heart. Now, as your eyes are still remaining closed, just think of intention for yourself and for the planet, possibly, and or for the planet, for your family, whatever it may be. Could be multiple intentions, whatever you'd like. And if you feel compelled to, go ahead and put it up on the in the chat. And we have some intentions coming in here. Let's read these out. Let's actualize this with thousands of people that are going to be tuning into this information over the years, over this year, because we're going to keep putting it out on different platforms over and over. Let's really just set that intention and put it into the field so that everybody who watches these presentations, listens to these presentations, they have the ability to be a beacon to amplify and actualize these intentions. Lisa Davies saying, intention to activate our heart center of the multidimensional bodies, 13 chakras to navigate interdimensional realms. Here to that one. Riva is saying, peace, truth, justice, goodwill, free will, love, and wisdom. And so it is. If you have some more, let's get some more in here before we start. Go ahead and say, you can even say a word if you want to. Here we go. Susie saying, strengthen my daily practice. That's something I want to work on myself too. I actually woke up thinking about that today. My intention, while you guys are saying it, is to bring more compassion and kindness and joy into my life. Right. And do things that are more joyful. I'm doing this so often. I'm like portal to Ascension all day, every day, sometimes 10 to 12 hours. And I realize I don't take time for myself to really embrace joy. Like almost all my joy really comes from doing these events, to be quite honest and vulnerable. And really just to take the time to do other things that bring me joy, be in nature, go to the ocean, go jet skiing, which I'm going to do in a couple of days. Surfing is something I want to do. And then kindness and compassion. When I said that originally, I was like, oh, I want to be more kind and compassionate to others. And I realized that the kindness and compassion is something within me that I need to have first, right? Because I'm not kind to myself that often. I'm kind to myself sometimes, but I'm not compassionate to myself. I'm really, really hard on myself. And for no good reason, really. Past wounds, childhood traumas, you name it, right? And I really want to get to a point where I just embody just being compassionate to myself, give myself that love. And then obviously after that, as we know how it works, then I can actually give that to the rest of the world. So we have Andrea saying acceptance. Lionel saying, I set the intention to purely love my family and therefore them understanding and being open to join me on this path. Colleen is saying balance. Kath, abundance in all things for the highest good of ourselves and of Mother Gaia. Promote peace and love. Wishing all on earth and beyond a grateful experience we all call life. Intention for all my soul sensory modalities to fully come online and to be able to utilize them with mastery, ease, grace, and flow, abundance, peace, healing for earth and its inhabitants. Thanks, guys. I set the intention to enjoy my life on earth, release any control, and be compassionate with myself, allow to receive all the beauty, joy, and love. I am setting the intention to be kinder to myself and patient with others. And I'll do one more here. Align with Mother Earth, be at one with myself, and same for all others. And if you'd like to join me in saying so it is, let's say so it is 3 times. 1, 2, 3. So it is, and so it is. Actualize all these intentions, universe. We're ready to create peace on Earth. We're ready to create a post-disclosure world. We're ready to get over our emotional triggers and traumas and ascend into the vortex, into a whole new octave of existence so that we can all live in harmony. We are ready. Bring it down now. We declare this the reality we choose to live in. And so it is. All right, my beautiful family, we're going to go ahead and get started here. We have, as I said, 4 guests today. And I know Geraldine's in the room. So Geraldine, just hope you know that you're the last speaker today. I think you might just be tuning in to join in and watch. So we have Althea coming on next. She's the only person that pre-recorded because it is January 1st. Some people aren't free. So she did a pre-record. And then Bridget Renee Holiday is next, Trish Osborne, and then we're going to close it out with the epic Geraldine. And let's go ahead and begin. So first of all, last of all, before I go ahead and put this on, just want to say I love you, appreciate you. Thank you all so much for being here, a part of this event on this January 1st. You know, we're setting the intention for what we want for this year. Many times in the ancient past, what you would do on this day, you know, symbolically represented for these ancient cultures, how the year was going to be, right? So that's also part of why we did this. So here we go. I'm going to go ahead and put on Althea's presentation now. And let's begin the show.
Hello, and thank you so much for having me here today. Thank you to the guys of Portal to Ascension for organizing this, and thank you to each and every one of you who is present, who's taking the time, and who is here in the now and open to listen and to see where we are going, to see how we can navigate this beautiful time that we're stepping into, this beautiful Ascension timeline, you know, as the frequency is rising exponentially. I mean, on a daily basis, we can definitely feel the shift on a collective level, on an individual level, and sometimes even on like a day-to-day basis with simple like normal tasks. I don't know about you guys, but with me sometimes it feels like I'm operating on a few different levels, on a multidimensional level. So when I tuned in to see what to speak about for this conference, the thing that came through to me very, very clearly was, well, there was more than one, but to prepare for contact. Well, first of all, I mean, understanding that contact is already happening on an individual level. It might not be on the mainstream media. It might not be happening, you know, in what way you would expect it to be happening collectively. But then again, guys, we are moving away from a space of having expectations. So you want to actually be in a space of flow, of openness, you know, to see what it is that is meant to come through for you, for the collective, for the planet. And on this point, what came through very clearly to say is going into contact, going into whether it's individual, collective, disclosure, whatever it is, call it in whatever way you want. To get closer to that, the work needs to be done on becoming the best possible version of yourself. So by that, I don't mean perfect. No one is perfect. And there is no what is perfect even, you know. I like to say that there's no wrongs in life. There's only lessons. If you do something, then maybe it doesn't go in the way that you thought it was going to go or expected it. Again, we're releasing expectations. And then you don't do it again. And that's a lesson, you know. So by being the best possible version of yourself, what I'm really talking about is using your time wisely and constructively. I think with the big clearing that is happening and that has happened with the end of 2023, there's always quite a big shift going into a new year. Even if you don't want it or don't believe in it or not setting your intentions, you're still going to pick up from the frequency on a collective level. So you're still going to be clearing and releasing. So moving into 2024, structuring, grounding, being present is going to be vitally important, even more than what it was in 2023. You know, so I think working, sorry, the lights. We in South Africa, so the power sometimes goes on and off. So it's almost like going into a preparation of anchoring into a higher timeline. So it's a preparation on a soul level, okay? So what I bring in and what I have been told to communicate and to explain to you guys is how do you do that in a practical way? Because it's all nice and dandy and beautiful when we are navigating this astral space, this 5D, the 6D, these galactic beings, these high vibrational frequency dimensional states, but how do we bring it here? How do we bring it out? How do we actually live a life that is fulfilling, that we are happy, that we are present? How do we co-create our reality? You know, and this is what came through really, really strongly to express the importance of that. And once that is anchored in, once you are in a trajectory and your baseline vibrational frequency is of a certain it's of a certain frequency, of a certain kind of, like, I wouldn't say a height, but you know, it's once you're in a high baseline vibration frequency, that's worded a little bit better. Then from there you can operate and really co-create your reality and really go. And your reality is, you want to see spaceships at your window, you can have that happen. There you go, and we're back. So this is kind of like where my approach and where I am being told to kind of navigate and take it from. I will do a system clearing for you guys as well. So we'll be pulling through some codes and light language to help with that. But I think it's being mindful and aware that there's a lot of distractions around, and choosing where your attention goes, that's where your energy flows as well. So it goes into the conversation of taking back your power again. Where are you giving your power away? Where is there attachments and things that are not in alignment, that are sucking energy from you? So yeah, I think it's quite important on that level to understand that you can co-create whatever reality you want. And if you want to be ready for when there is full disclosure, mainstream disclosure, call it whatever you want, then you need to be solid, you need to be grounded, you need to be present, or you're not going to be able to see if it's an illusion or if it's real, or you know, if it's something that you are getting triggered by, if it's something that's assisting you in releasing things. So it comes back down to the self. Again, guys, if you want to connect with your higher versions of self and you want to, like, you know, go there, like, you can, anyone can, we all have a channel, we all open. So preparing for contact happens on an individual level. So it's about you and your own experience. It always goes back to you. Remember, guys, we are all divinely connected anyway. We're all connected to each other. You're connected to the beings out there. You're connected to your family members. You're connected to strangers, because we are all part of source consciousness. So if you imagine source being like this huge lake of silver, gold, and platinum white light, okay, and you're a drop that comes out of that lake, okay, so you are the whole lake, but you're also your drop, which is your soul, your individuality, your own experience that you're navigating, okay, but you always have access to all the information that's present in the whole lake because you were a part of it from the beginning. So it's really a matter of tuning into that innate ability that you have to call in the information, you know, and to create your reality and to create your experience and to create the direction that you want to go down. So for me, another important thing that has come through to communicate is really try to move away from what is anchoring you in any type of division, in any type of fear, in any type of lack. Because when we clouded by those type of emotions, we're not thinking clearly. So I'm not saying to, you know, like, I think every emotion serves its purpose, but be aware of it. Okay. Be present in the emotion, feel it, surrender to it, then release it and let it go, and then thank it. So working with the emotion of gratitude as well, you know, down to, yeah, this is something else that healing whatever trigger you have with technology. That's also very important. So that when technology, which is rapidly and exponentially accelerating, like we are in the trajectory that we're going down and in the timeline that we're at, a lot of us, a lot of starseeds, a lot of you here, a lot of us have struggled with Atlantean timelines and Atlantean karma. So we here again to learn to navigate technology in a way that is productive, in a way that is healthy. Technology is a natural part of the evolutionary process. Every kind of like, you know, more evolved species out there uses technology. They just use it in a way that is constructed. They use it in a way that is in a high vibrational frequency and alignment. Okay, so healing whatever trigger you may have with technology, whether it's, and it doesn't mean you need to love and start using technology 24/7. If you don't like social media, you don't have to be using it. Don't fear it. Don't be scared of it. You know, embrace it for what it is, see it for what it is, see its purpose, and accept it, you know. Yeah, something else that has come through. Yeah, okay. Something else that has come through for 2024 is, again, guys, take it or leave it with a pinch of salt. This is what's come through to me and a few other colleagues. There's going to be more mainstream media disclosure with regards to the Ascension, the awakening, and starseeds. So you will be seeing more of that within what could be considered your mainstream media. And I'm seeing the vibrational frequency of that change quite quickly, like I saw the technology within the social media construct. I mean, I don't know if you guys, when I was posting light language on social media about, I think it was 3-4 years ago when I first, no, it was like 2018, that's 6 years ago now, when I first started. There wasn't many. Now there's a lot. And the actual, what I've channeled is the actual vibrational frequency itself. I'm speaking mainly about Instagram, but YouTube too. I don't really know about TikTok. I think TikTok still needs a bit of work. I think there's a lot of stuff that goes on there. Yeah, it's not, there still needs to be stuff that, but with regards to Instagram, the frequency of the program itself, which Instagram has its own consciousness because everything has consciousness, everything is part of source, has shifted into a high vibrational frequency timeline. So it's almost like the social media itself started assisting more on a collective level, whether it was with the spreading of videos, with making people go viral, with you know, healings and things coming online. So I think that's a very important point as well. Sorry guys, I'm just going to be clearing a little bit. I'll start, they're just sending me codes already, so I'm going to start channeling just now. But yeah, so I think these are the main points that came through that you guys could do to prepare yourselves. So healing your relationship with technology, really striving to be the best possible version of yourself, using your time wisely, being present, being grounded, and working on releasing fear. Because you don't know what disclosure is going to look like. We don't know. I mean, we all can like have assumptions, you know, but so staying in a space of openness and, okay, so they're saying also healing, almost like those programs that come from ancestral patterns and timelines. So do the work within the family nucleus as well. That's also going to help. And also understand, guys, you are the creators of your own reality. So yeah, I'm just going to give this last example and then I'll open channel because I don't want to go over time. This was about, I think 2-3 years ago. I've told this story because it's quite an interesting one. So, you know, I mean, I work in these spaces with all these galactics and these beings, and I'm channeling, but none of it is very tangible. It's not very tangible. Like it is, but sometimes it isn't. So it's about, I think it was 2.5 years ago. And I was like, so I've seen UFOs here and there and whatnot, but it'd been a while since I'd seen anything in 3D. So I was like, guys, can you just send me something, you know, like I'm here, I'm doing all this work. Can you know, and for about 3 or 4 months, yeah, this was 2021. I was like really asking and asking and asking. And then I was like, I think it was towards the end of 2021. And then I was like, okay, whatever. I had attachment to it. So I just released it. I was like, I really wanted it. And then I was like, okay, whatever, like it doesn't matter. A few months after I remember, because it was around my birthday, I'm sitting outside in the porch of my veranda, and I was with a friend at the time, and my family wasn't home, and I would usually be inside at that time, but that day, because my family wasn't home, I was with a friend, I was actually sitting outside, and all of a sudden, like, I see this spaceship, like it was a small one, like, I don't know, maybe it could have felt like a few small beings in it. It wasn't a big one, but I thought it was like an airplane. And I was like, okay, let me go see closer. But then it had like blue and like red and like orange lights on the sides. And I'm like, and my house is on top of a valley. So if you look straight down, it's open completely. And there's a huge view. And I've got kind of like almost like an infinity pool and a pool that gives onto a view sort of thing. I mean, not your skyscraper views. This is like a nature view. But anyway, so it's a small valley, but it's still a valley. And so I'm seeing and I'm watching, and then I call my friend, and he's like, no, it's a plane. And then he's like, no, it was zigzagging. And it was like, I mean, clear as day, I could draw it. It was a gray UFO, like super clear. And then it kind of like zigzags, and then it sort of like wanders off. And then we couldn't see it anymore because it went in the trees. Like I tried like walking around, but I mean, it was on that, it's not like it was going to jump down the valley, you know? And I was like, oh my God. And then I tuned in and they said, yeah, we've sent it to you, you see? They said, you asked me to send, you released the attachment. And when I wasn't expecting it, then it arrived. So there's your disclosure, guys. If you want your disclosure, you can have it. If you want to connect to higher beings, you can have it. So yeah, I'm going to pull through a few codes. I'm just going to also say to you guys that, yeah, I'll say this, I'll add this after when I'm done with the light language. Okay, so you can just close your eyes and anchor into your body. Find a comfortable breathing rhythm. With every inhale, you breathe in light, and with every exhale, you let go of all that doesn't serve you anymore. This is going to prepare your systems for 2024. Finish any last minute releases. You might feel things release on a physical level. Clearing, releasing, opening. Opening system structures. Traya kiera takre areo kurukut karaisira takra triana iara ieshiro tukuraisia tieta reatre ukutkuraisia te sanaki areat crea kiero kutkuraisira yata tre anieto kumrasero itiara triaki trea kiero kurukura iaishira taka riasiero tukura treatiet kanaishin mayatara tre kiero kumrasira taka Raisiraitia. Ntiana takre aishiraya tarakira sira. So as we open and expand, shkruai shinaya takarai sira, letting go of all that doesn't serve us anymore, preparing the systems, preparing the soul, activating, attuning, takarai sira takara triakira sira takara ishira takara shirataka riate kurotoka, expanding into more light, divine rays, new structures, downloading, anchoring into systems. So you'll be clearing and releasing for a few days, up to 3 weeks for full integration. Yeah, a lot of you have been going through a lot already. This is going to help ease out. And it's going to help actually actually align with the timeline of what it is that you asked for. So, okay, yeah. So guys, thank you so much. If you would like to connect with me, yeah, my links are going to probably be in the chat. So you can go to my website, altelucrezia.com. I will be speaking at the Conscious Life Expo in Los Angeles at the LAX Hilton on the 10th of February. The expo is from the 9th until the 12th. I think I'll be sitting 2 panels and I will be speaking there in person in Los Angeles. It's the first time that I'm going to this conference. So for those of you who are that side of the world, I would love for you to come there, meet me, say hello. I'll leave the link for the tickets for the workshop there as well. I will be around all 3 days as well. And then on the 24/02/2024 of February, I will be holding my own workshop in Midtown Manhattan. Tickets are available on my website. I've got a few spaces left. It'll be a day workshop. We're going to be working a lot with dragon energy, dragon body activations. And then I've got a Costa Rica in-person retreat coming up in November of 2024 as well. So yeah, lots of exciting new things coming up. And let's see when we can connect and see all our friendly beings. So again, thank you so much for taking the time, for being present. And thank you to the guys from Portal for having me once again. Always very grateful and humbled to be able to spread my craft, my medicine, and what it is that I do, and to always be received so openly from each and every one of you. Thank you. I love you. I see you. I appreciate you from my heart to yours. Thank you, guys. Bye.
Beautiful. Thank you so much to Althea, wherever she is, whatever she's doing today. Good way to start this event. And we're just going to keep going. Okay, first I want to just talk about how to prepare for extraterrestrial contact means. You know, we spoke about what's happening, the theme of the year. When it comes to preparing, right, we're not talking about the old paradigm views over preparing, like get an earthquake kit ready in your in your cupboard because there might be an earthquake and need to survive. It's not that kind of preparation. It's about it's not just about your consciousness, it's your emotional, physical, it's everything. There was, I forget his name now, but the guy that founded the Israeli space program, right? You can just find it, articles are everywhere for it. If you've been following Disclosure or some of our events, you would have known that a few years ago, he came out and said that Earth is being visited by beings, galactic beings, and that they don't want to, they're not ready to interact with us yet because humanity's not ready, right? That was what he said. This is the founder of the Israeli space program. In Israel, they tried to go and talk to some of his friends that were his colleagues that were part of the space program. And instead of ridiculing him, they said, well, you know what? He's one of the smartest people we know and a very rational person. If he said this, you got to think about this seriously, right? Very interesting, the opposite of what really has been happening in the US, right? And what did he mean by that? If you drill down a little bit on what that actually could possibly mean, it's the consciousness level. Humanity is not at the level consciously in order to accept and be open to the existence of extraterrestrials for us to be able to interact with them without the select few having this warlike mentality, this aggression mentality, this us against them, divide and conquer, right? Because the majority of humanity, we all want the same thing. We want to be loved. We want to have connection. We want to have a good life. We want to have food and shelter, right? Pretty much everybody wants the same thing. But then there's a select few out there, and that's okay too, because this select few playing their role perfectly, right? Who knows who they were before they incarnated and why they're playing this role. But this select few has been coming down with a divide and conquer tactic that has made it that when it comes to contact with ETs, the MO is basically about, is this a foreign adversary? Is this an invasion? How do we get more technology and weaponized space to protect ourselves? And not even the question of who are these beings, right? that question just came out like a few months ago. They finally started asking that, but it was more about statements such as this. Like a congressional member said recently, it's not about who's little green men, right? It's about why they lied to us. You know, that statement in itself is an ego-based statement, right? Yes, we were lied to, but instead of saying like, of course it's about little green men. Obviously, we know that it's not about little green men. It's about star beings and who these beings are, and they're not all little and green. But it comes down to, yes, we were lied to, and it was hidden. And now that this truth is coming out, what does this mean for humanity? So it's this and that. So moving the conversation to what are we going to do about this, and what is our connection to it? So that's what we're doing here today, is preparing your consciousness first, and then you prepare your physical body, your emotional state of being. We get to a place of inner peace. When beings come down to interact with us, and we have open trade with star beings, right? If we have alternative motives or suppressed emotions or shame bodies or daddy issues from when we were a child or abandonment issues, what do you think? How do you think we're going to react to the interaction with these beings from those wounds? So what it really means, when the founder of the space program Israel was really referring to, I feel, and even Paul Hellyer, the Minister of Defense who passed away a few years ago from Canada, was that unless we get to that place of kind of harmony within ourselves, we can't connect and interact with them, because they know how it's going to play out in the field, right? So that's why it's important for us to have these kind of conversations. I want to show you guys a couple of events that are coming up Portal to Ascension, but what we'll do is we'll do that after the next presenter here. So I'm really excited now to continue the conversation and move forward now with Bridget Renee Holiday, who's also going to be presenting and giving us her insight on how to prepare for ET contact. Every single person that we have on this panel today, obviously I hand selected, I always hand select them, but I chose them specifically because I feel it's a really good range of information. And these are people that I personally hold very dear to my heart in regards to being people on the forefront of really getting people ready for this. Not just talking about these beings, who we're connected to, what these beings are, who they are, but actually providing the modalities for us to get to that place that we can prepare for ET contact. So Bridget Renee Holiday is a starseed channel, multidimensional medium. Her star lineages include Pleiadian, Sirian, Arcturian, Lyran, Andromeda, amongst others. She does beyond quantum healing sessions, hypnosis sessions. She's done one on me that literally changed my life. And I'm doing a whole entire presentation on that, on the regression a little later down in the year. So you guys will see that. So let's go ahead and bring Bridget on. Hey, Bridget.
I love you. Hi. I'm so
I love
excited.
You too. Happy New Year.
Happy blessed New Year to you, Neil. Blessed New Year to everyone. And I feel so excited about today's conversation. And these are really short bites, you guys. But Neil, everything you just said, I was like, yes, yes, yes. Everything Althea said, I was like, it's like,
yeah.
I feel like everyone is going to be hearing a lot of the same things in different ways. And that's because this is how to prepare, right? So
Exactly.
which person are you going to receive it from? You know what I mean? So,
right.
but
before you start, I would love for you, Bridget, what do you feel is the energy of this year? Maybe you could start with that. And do you want to share, because we were sharing our intentions, do you want to share your intention for this year as well?
Ooh, I'd love to. Okay. So 2024 is all about harmony. And this is what my team has been talking to me about for 2 years now. But this year, they're saying it's all about remembering our wholeness and stepping into harmony. So instead of resisting or attaching to things, bringing them back in together in the wholeness. We are not just light. We are not just shadow. We are not just all of these things. What we do when we bring it back into wholeness, though, if you are really heavily focused on your light, beautiful, thank you. If you are really heavily focused on your shadow, beautiful, thank you. But bringing them back into the wholeness, that shadow now elevates and matches the light, right? And we're not saying that part of ourselves is bad or wrong or shouldn't be there, right? So 2024 to me is all about really observing our inner reality and how it's creating our external world, but bringing every bit of ourselves back in and embracing that self-love and that harmony that we are, and that will create it in the world. And
I
then
love that so much.
I think that's my intention is always pretty much the same every year. I don't do the New Year's resolutions because I feel like my intention is my purpose and mission. So it is
Mhm.
to embody as much of my high self and what I'm here to do in the world and be in the world,
Yeah.
and to serve as big as I will allow myself to go, right?
Yes,
So,
yes, yes,
um,
yes.
and
Thank you,
and
Bridget.
really, yeah, that's just it's all about love and unity for me. So
Yeah. I love what you just said about harmony is the both polarities. You know,
Mhm.
I think maybe often some may feel that harmony is bringing in the light into their life, but it's bringing the darkness and the light in harmony with each other.
Mhm.
That's
'Cause
beautiful.
we're all of it. I mean, everything in
Hmm.
existence is source, right? So
Yeah.
if source has created beings that are part of a shadow construct, a control construct, that's source too, right? If source has created beings that have never known shadow, that's source too. We,
Mm,
however, obviously, look at the state of the world, hold both, right? So
right.
how can we bring it in? And there are people in this world that they feel like their missions and purposes is about their shadow, is about helping others with their shadow, right? So who
Yeah.
are we to say that that's not divine guidance as well, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Exactly.
I have friends that do that. I think it's amazing.
Yeah. All right, Bridget. Okay, it's all yours.
Yay! All right, I love
Let's
you.
do it.
I'm so excited about this one. Okay, you guys, I'm just going to start off a little bit with contact is already happening. It's happening with so many people around the world. It's happening in what my soul team says groups of like hearted people and on an individual basis. And if you are wanting to prepare for contact, that means that maybe you want to deepen the contact you're already having. Maybe you want to have a contact experience, whatever that looks like for you. The first place to start, as Althea was so beautifully sharing and Neil, is within your own consciousness. And one of the things you'll hear a lot of us talk about is removing the separation, like really allowing ourselves to know that we are all connected, that we are all in oneness. And the reason that is because in our galactic, cosmic, and ethereal expressions, we understand ourselves in oneness. And our consciousness as galactic, cosmic, and ethereal beings is quite vast. We don't have that illusion of forgetting. We don't have that illusion of separation. And everything with everyone is transparent. So there's a thing that happens when we go within our own consciousness and start really releasing the fear programming. And that program runs deep. You've heard Althea and Neil talk about it. The program runs more than just your life here. So it's important when we do the inner work to look and clear throughout all time, all space, all dimensions, right? And it's not just a program that runs in our Earth collective. This is something that other beings in other third dimensional, fourth dimensional expressions experience within themselves too. Contact, making contact with an entire civilization, a planet, a plane of existence, this is nothing new for our galactic family. And there's a reason why in my bio, my team has told me I'm an Ascension dash contact specialist. There's no separation. The ascension that we've labeled it is exactly the same as what will happen with contact. So there is a system that in place for how, as galactic beings, as interdimensional beings, how and interdimensional, extra dimensional, ultra dimensional, extraterrestrial, whatever, all of them, right? I like to call them star beings. But there's a process with which we make first contact. There's a process with which we understand a civilization who is sort of not aware of their interstellar and multidimensional family, the extended family. We're not the only ones that play in the illusion of separation in that way, right? So there's a process that we do with it, and we understand because we've done this so many times. This is a huge universe. We understand that there are different scenarios that play out within a culture, within a civilization, a race, a species, a star nation, so to speak. We are one as well. That lead to the ability to have face-to-face contact. But we're not going to land on the White House lawn. And even if they do come, that probably won't be the place they go to, right? And I say they, I really mean we, because we are all connected. So we are in the very early stages of contact. And we have an interesting experience happening here with the fact that we have star seeds and walk-ins and hybrids, and I'm sure so many other types of beings who have come here to assist with this from within, right? And know that, right? Or are waking up to that understanding. So there is a different element here that is playing out that doesn't necessarily always happen in all of the scenarios leading into contact. But one of the precursory things that has to happen is that civilization has to cross through the fear and through the separation to be able to understand and receive without having fractured psyche, without having all of these different things that can happen. We also have to know ourselves. We have to know who we are, know our own energy, understand what is us as humans on Earth, and be able to recognize what isn't. A lot of our galactic family has very vast consciousness, meaning when we come into contact with them, it is very normal for us as humans on Earth to lose our identity, to lose our persona for a period, a moment in time, not a very long one usually. But because their consciousness is so much more vast than ours, we can just, it's like we experience ourselves. If you've ever experienced this in meditation, it's similar to the I am or the isness. We experience ourselves in such a degree of oneness during that moment that our persona, our personality, our ego personality falls away, just dissipates instantly. And for some people who are still playing in the fear zone, what that can present as is they are taking me over. And that's not what happens. What happens is a blending of frequency, a blending of consciousness. So we become literally oneness in that moment. How we experience it is we experience ourselves floating in the presence of everything and nothing that we are, our infinite nature. And we experience them in theirs. And it's this beautiful blending that happens. But if we are not aware of these kinds of things and we meet a being with this vast consciousness and we have that happen, humans are we're programmed to create stories about everything. And generally the story is I was afraid I was losing myself. I was afraid they were taking me over. It felt invasive. And those stories come from fear, right? So not if you've had that experience, I am not judging you when I say this. I'm just explaining this so that we can move beyond it, so that we can understand. Now, there's also a really big push by our galactic family, by my galactic family in particular with me, to release the judgment of ourselves, judgment of one another, judgment of how things look. Judging someone, creating opinions about someone based on how they appear is a partial truth, right? If even a truth. What they always encourage us is to sense, feel, know, right? We can see, right? But we are designed to do more than just the physical senses. This is a soul sense. All of the clairs, the psychic ability, all of these things, these are part of our soul. Everyone has it. Whether you have placed your focus and attention on it and started to cultivate it, that's a different story, right? But you can do that at any time. Every single one of us can. So they recommend going beyond just physical sight based on who we believe someone is. We create a lot of judgment. I mean, look at humanity right now, right? It's a perfect example. We are fighting over things such as religion, such as land, such as, sacred sites. We're fighting because we have different hues of skin color and we have different cultures. Imagine a universe filled with beings who look so different, some of them, than humans on Earth, that we can barely perceive them. And now imagine us moving out into our interstellar ability and our ability to communicate with intergalactic beings and extraterrestrials and experiencing those beings. It won't be healthy, right? If we're in this, it won't be healthy for us. It definitely won't be healthy for anyone else, right? If we come out like in this drive to defend and conquer, there are plenty of beings out there who have had that experience, right? And they'll understand where we are. Doesn't mean they'll want to be a part of it, right? So and many of our galactic family, their technology is so far advanced compared to ours, even probably the things that our government has created based on some of those. So I'm just going to tell a story to kind of pull this home. I was communicating with my galactic family and my soul team collective. It's all connected. Everybody just remember, they're all connected. It's not an us, them. We are connected. And I was asking them about different beings. And I have been traveling a lot via consciousness, which is similar to astral projection. And I was really asking about, like, how do we move through the preconceived notions based on appearance and things like that. And they said, let's show you. And I was like, okay. And so I closed my eyes so I could get that visual image that they were bringing in for me, which happens in your mind's eye, that place where you review your memories. And they started showing me this being. And this being, in Earth terms, would have been fairly creepy looking. And I was not sure, right? I don't hold a lot of fear with all of this. I think that sort of went by the wayside when I had my initial contact experiences for the most part, but I do still find programming within my consciousness. And this being had this huge round head, very spindly body. But which is fairly normal for a lot of different types of beings. But what was interesting is they had, in this big, huge round head on this tiny little body, they had a smile that went from like cheek to cheek, no lips, and teeth that interlocked, right? Pointed teeth that interlocked. And I was like, oh, when I saw it, it wasn't like oh my gosh, this guy is so creepy. It was like oh, that's not what I expected, right? And they said, exactly. And I went, yes, that's a judgment. Even in the oh, there's a judgment, right? And I was like, okay. And then they said, now feel. And when I sensed into it, I felt love, really beautiful love. I felt this high, fine frequency. I felt unity. I felt all kinds of beautiful things. And I was like, oh, they're filled with light. I felt their light quotient was very high, right? And I was like, oh, they're filled with light. And they said, and you have practice in this. You have practice in seeing beings and understanding not to run with any of the preconceived notions that would pop into your mind. Most of humanity doesn't. And for everyone to be connected, we need to understand that the way someone looks is almost inconsequential. What matters is how they feel, because how they feel is who they are. So my suggestion to anyone who's wanting to make contact is to really get to know your own energy fields, really work on your extra ability to sense those superpowers. And it doesn't take much these days to do that. It's all about being in the heart space with any of this. Being in the heart space, having an open mind and an open heart, right? And a very clear intention. When you want to connect with anyone that is galactic, cosmic, ethereal, that's all it is. And remember that we are all in oneness. Those beings who are coming to contact you, they share a soul stream with you. So they're connected via soul. You guys are the same. You're of the same source spark, the same essence, right? So it's this beautiful remembering that this is another version of me. This is another version of my soul, right? And we get to love and accept that. We get to expand our own love for ourselves through our connection with them. And if we're beating ourselves up, if we have messy mental fields, if we have messy emotional fields, that's okay. But it's probably going to mean that your contact will come in a different way, like through meditation, through journeying, things like that. Physical contact, unless it's prearranged to really bring about a deep awakening, and many other things, 'cause there's many reasons why we can have the in-person physical contact. Um, it doesn't generally happen on the regular unless that person is going through sort of a what we would call like a training program with themselves. um, like Whitley Strieber is perfect example of that. Amazing, bringing this into the world when it was still so ridiculed and so programmed, and everyone was still so asleep to it. So his journey over time, if you listen to him, his journey over time, it has gone from terror and fear and horror and horrific experiences to love and understanding and compassion and a deep knowingness, right? Of the support. And I want to bring in something else related to this. Often when we connect with our star family, our galactic family, they reflect us back to us. We do that with each other all the time, but they will reflect our personality back to us to a degree. They will reflect, it's like we are all just mirrors of one another, right? We are all sharing soul, sharing source light and God light, great spirit light, whatever you want to call it, right? And when we meet them, because there is no pretense of persona with them, they can have a personality, but they don't have the pretense. They don't wear the masks. What will generally happen is they will reflect us. So if you're a little sassy, a little spicy, like I can be sometimes, they'll reflect that sense of humor back to you. If you're really introverted and quiet, they'll reflect that back to you. And it's not that they are manipulating anything. That's just how it works, right? So if we're holding a bunch of fear and a bunch of trauma, and we go into fear in an experience with them, and it goes wild, there's probably a reason that it happens first to help us clear it, but also to show us our mental field and our emotional fields. But what will happen in those situations is generally they meet that fear with resistance, right? Because, well, first, especially if it's physical, it can be dangerous for them because they're not generally as strong as we are. Not always, but second, because that energy is so loud to them, right? So they'll meet it with resistance. So you might find yourself immobilized. You might find whatever, and that's also a safety factor for us as well, because if we're unpredictable sometimes, right? So if we are really full of a lot of fear, we could do something that is dangerous for ourselves too, right? There's also technology that has been designed as a kindness for us, that is like a cover image that happens when we meet them. Doesn't happen all the time. Generally, it will happen with the beings that look very different from us, but it can still happen to a degree with beings who are also humanoid, and we mirror them. We look very similar to them. For example, the Syrians, who are humanoid, their face, when we see them through the cover image, will have a lot more plumpness to it than it truly does. It'll look more like us. They will be smiling really big with teeth, right? Pleiadians will have the same sort of thing, smiling really big with teeth. Most of our galactic family doesn't do that as much, but they also don't emote as much with their faces because they're telepathic. So what they're feeling, who they are, all of these things are revealed in their energy essence, their frequencies, right? That they can easily read from with one another, right? So the Syrians, they look a bit emaciated. They look sort of like elves, and with the high cheekbones and the longer face, and everybody's a little bit different. So it's not just across the board what I'm saying, but they definitely have more sunken features. But what we see, until we expand our consciousness far enough to be able to see beyond that technology, is we see the more plump face version of them, the more sparkly white teeth version of them, the more emotive on their energy, and their feelings are emoting through in facial expressions. Another prime example as to why it's important for us to really sense and feel and know who someone is, because a lot of them, they don't have facial expressions at all, or very minimal, right? Especially those beings that don't have this similar humanoid form as we do. Yeah, I'm just trying to think of anything else the team wants to bring through for you guys. Neil, I don't know what time I started, so just pop in and let me know when it's time. But I just want to relay to everyone that we already know our galactic family from a higher perspective. This is not someone that's new to us. The entire creation of this universe is not something new to us. So as we begin to heal our trauma, clear our fears, really hold the intention to expand our consciousness, this information comes back in so fast. It comes back in with lightning speed. You'll get downloads, you'll have visions, whatever way you receive, you will start accessing this information. And it's designed to be that way during this lifetime that we're all in right now. This is not a short journey. There's a lot of people that are saying, everything's going to be done in 2 years. That's not the probabilities that I see, at least in the timelines that I see. But we do have major impact events happening this year, 2024, 2026, 2028. Now, the 2026 year sometimes pushes to 2027 based on our collective probabilities. And my team's being kind of hush-hush about what the exact events are. But the feeling I get with them is things will happen to really bring us together, but bringing us together through experiences that help us realize there has to be a better way, right? There's got to be some other way to do this, right? But it brings us together. So the potential for this depends on each individual, each and every human on the planet, like how it's going to play out, right? 2024 definitely feels like an event that kind of shakes the foundation, which brings us to that brink of fear to where we're like, okay, enough, right? But it can go multiple ways. It doesn't have to be a human crack me open experience to where everything falls away. If we're all choosing, or as many of us as sees this, chooses a path that gives us the same outcome, then those moments that are sort of we've scheduled in for ourselves aren't necessary. And this is personal. This is true for our personal lives as well, right? So if we are designing something that will bring us into unity, and our current trajectory is going to something that's going to be amazing after, but feel like it has a lot of intensity during, if we all of us that sense that, if we can all just focus on our own journey and bringing that into the world, that same set of frequencies, then that experience is transformed, right? It's transformed through our intentional, conscious decision to bring more of that unity into our lives, or more of that love, less of the judgment, whatever it is. Each moment we do that, it's like we're just deflating energy from that collective experience. Now, does that mean that just because you go and start doing that the collective experience will happen? No, right? We don't know. we don't know exactly when it's going to happen and when it isn't most of the time these days, right? Because we don't know how many of us are out there awakened. Some of us can feel the light quotient, we can feel the consciousness expanding, we can feel all of those things, but we don't know what that probability marker is. But the point of all of this is not to do it to circumvent something that someone else may want for themselves, to expand their consciousness and have awakenings and all of those things through. The purpose of me sharing this is bringing that into our own experience, just because we know it's an outcome that we desire to have. Our heart desires unity. Our heart desires a new earth that is all of the beauty and harmony and love and oneness. The fastest way to bring that in and bring contact in, because that's what it is to really go within ourselves and create that and generate that within ourselves. And then it will be rippling out into the world. Making contact happens when we have an open heart and an open mind, when we are clearer, right? So it's all about bringing that frequency of ourselves into alignment with the beings that we're wanting to have contact with, right? So that inner journey of frequency matching, or bringing in those frequency chords, so to speak, CHORDS, those symphonies of frequency, which is what unity is, right? Bringing more of that in through our own expression in the world and within our mind and our emotions, having that harmony, that deep harmony that we are, letting everything else that is distortion, that is adopted or created out of not seeing as full of a picture as we do right now, letting all that go, that all leads to a beautiful space for our galactic family to come in and have contact with us, right? So it all leads to this moment of we are ready. We are ready for contact. Everyone thinks like the Pleiadians are going to come, currently the Sasani, right? Like all of these things, they're going to come, they're going to help us with all of these things. And yes, that will definitely happen. But they're not going to be able to come if it's dangerous for us and dangerous for them, right? So it is truly up to us to be prepared as individuals and to work with one another. Look at pictures of strange things to help you get past the fear of how something looks. Stare at it until you can look at it through the beauty that it really is, till you can see the uniqueness, the special moment of its creation, and how that creation now moves in the world and what they do. Really, it works with insects. It's like a really good way to work, at least for me it was. But I wasn't afraid of things like snakes and other animals, and I wasn't really afraid of insects. I just thought they were super strange looking, right? Look at the micro of things. Look at ants, look at wasps, look at spiders, look at all those things. If you have a fear of an insect in the 3D world, start deep diving in it. Start looking at it until you can see the unique beauty in it, till you can see your connection to it. That's when you know that you have released that fear. When you look at something and you feel that deep unity, love, that's when you know you're ready for whatever that is. And a little teaser that I'm sure you guys have all heard, there are avatars on Earth for so many different races and species. We have, insectoids, we have wasp-like beings. I just had a beautiful experience with some a couple months ago. That were ethereal, and they're giant compared to what our wasps are, right? So we have all types of avatars here, so to speak, not just these human bodies, but we have all types of avatars within our beautiful, diverse collective that if we feel a fear and we face that fear and we find the beauty and we acknowledge that deep connection, that's another element of collective programming, and in programming in some way that connects us to fear that we've just released, right? So each time we do that with whatever it is, it doesn't matter what it is on the planet. If you can face it, find the beauty and the love, feel that connection, that's what's important, right? So, and that's what leads us to really having a diverse, universal understanding of who we are on Earth in connection to our galactic families, right? Galactic, cosmic, and ethereal, right? Because not everyone has a physical body, but they can still see each other and hang out together. So that's a whole other presentation, I think. But it's just really important to remember that it all starts with us. And they're waiting. So if you start meditating with the intention of connecting to your galactic family, they will meet you. They will be there for you. They're already watching you. They're already observing your human life because they get information. And on a higher level, we're already communicating with them. It's just most people haven't become fully conscious of that yet. We have a multidimensional layering to our human experience that lots of us are remembering and waking up to. And then there are some that still haven't, right? And there's no right or wrong with how it happens. Everything happens in divine timing. But the more you hold the intention and the declaration of knowing these things, understanding your contact that is already happening in your more higher dimensional aspects of self, so to speak, your multidimensionality, the more you will have that remembering pop in. But your high self is not going to allow that if you're filled with fear, if you're, filled with judgment and all of those things, because it can have the reverse effect for you than what contact really does spur within our remembrance and our remembrance of who we are. That's what it's designed for, right? But it can have the opposite effect for you, to where you go, it's almost like you contract, right? And sometimes that's a purpose too. But open your heart, open your mind, get clear, get really clear, and bring it all into wholeness. We're not leaving our third dimensional aspect behind to have connection with beings that are 5D and above, right? We're not doing that. We're bringing it all into wholeness and bringing all of ourselves into this sovereign relationship. Like, I am sovereign in myself. I hold myself accountable for all of the things that I am doing in this world. They are the same. We meet in the middle and we don't lose ourselves, right? We don't give our power away to them. We don't start to worship them as gods just because they can do godlike things that we haven't figured out within ourselves yet. And they don't want that. We've already done that in humanity's history, and it didn't work out well for anyone. We don't want that again. What we want is that equal meeting in the center. Every race and species has their own unique series of things that they bring into this universal expression. Humans on Earth are no different. We have that. We have our own unique elements and aspects that we bring in, right? So they want to share in that with us, and they want to share theirs with us, right? So they want the exchange, but the sovereign exchange, the understanding ourselves in oneness exchange, right? That will best serve everybody. So yeah, I love this. I love this conversation. I love that you're all listening, whether you're here live or in the replay. Put in the comments, like, what are you practicing in your journey? What are your sacred practices that will help you step further into contact and connection with our galactic, cosmic, and ethereal families? Put that in the chat. Talk with each other, connect with each other, share your experiences. Join us in Ascension Catalysts, which is the name of our community. Join us in Portal to Ascension. Conscious Awakening Network. There's so many of us out here that have these amazing communities for all of us to grow and expand and share what is really resonating with us, how we're having these deep contacting and communication experiences, because not all contact is physical. A lot of times it's channeling, right? So how can we come together in community? That's the next step for most of us, is connecting with that soul family, coming in, sharing our experiences, expanding our consciousness together, sharing everything, right? And allowing ourselves to be in our own sovereign journey while we're really remembering our oneness with other humans. And that always plays into, at least in our community, that and Neil's, that always plays into how we can connect easier, how we can have contact experiences, how we can develop relationships with our galactic, cosmic, and ethereal families, right? And one another, supporting each other, uplifting each other, knowing that we're not alone, that loneliness we've been feeling is such a lie. We don't have to live in it. There's so many of us that are activated, open, awakened, having contact experiences, having channeling, daily channeling experiences with our galactic family. And they're all here waiting to be connected, right? You're waiting. If you don't have a community already, you probably feel exactly what I'm talking about, right? So let's bring ourselves together and do this, because that's what we're here for, right? And collaborate on how we can be of service to make it easier for the world to shift in whatever way is aligned for them in that moment. We're not forcing anyone to do anything, right? But we are holding space for that. We are forging pathways for others to follow that makes direct contact easier, that makes understanding who we are, the core essence of our being, easier for someone, right? So, yeah, as you guys can probably tell, I'm really passionate about all of this, but I just feel like we have it's such a small step in the grand picture of everything that we're going through as a collective. What this inner work is for us right now is such a small step in the larger scheme of what we've labeled the ascension, right? So it's just about looking at these things that for some people might hold a lot of contrast and intensity, right? Depending on what kind of trauma you have, right? But it's just about looking at these for the truth of what they are. We're not reliving our trauma when we go in to clear so that we can have contact with someone that is really clear already. We're looking at it for the truth of what it gifted us. Even the most intense experience in my life, which I've had plenty, um, those gifted me something so valuable, wisdom, even if it was just wisdom of knowing something about myself on a very deep level, or being able to see through certain, circumstances into the truth of why I had placed myself in them. Whatever it is, it gives us something. And so that's when the forgiveness and the love and the self-love and the worthiness and all of these things that you hear people talk about, this isn't for most people just a, skip down the road kind of experience, Ascension. For some people it is. But for most of us, it's a deep dive into the truth of what have I adopted and collected that no longer serves me in the collective? And then deciding what we want to do with it, right? But it's always about love. It's always about bringing everything back into the wholeness, including those other people that we've said are other than and less than and bad and whatever. It's all, even if they are doing heinous things, if we have that frequency in us, then we are perpetuating that frequency in the global world, in the world, right? So even for those beings, and this may be something that you step further into, but even for those beings that people talk about a lot, there are beings that play roles with us in the control constructs on Earth, right? They do add intensity and contrast. Lots of people have experienced them. We're not a vibrational match for them most of the time. Most of the time, as we begin to clear our stuff out and bring it into that wholeness, set down what we've adopted and created that no longer serves, we're invisible to beings that are not a frequency match or harmonious with us. So I think it's just really important. It just feels really important to look at all the angles. Everything's connected, right? Our galactic family is connected to paranormal experiences, is connected to us, is connected to portals, and our planet being a portal planet is connected to all of these other worlds and expressions with all of these other beings. We are in oneness. There is a 0 point, a unity field. We're having an expression from it. This is a holographic experience. All of these things are true, but how do you want to perceive them? And that clear perception of them is what makes it easier to communicate and connect with our galactic family. When we have too many things in our perception lenses that cloud the lenses, then we're seeing through a cloudy, I mean, you know what cloudy glasses look like, or cloudy sunglasses, dirty, whatever, right? We're seeing through it. We're seeing through that. So everything we relay, everything we perceive within our mind, all the stories we build are through that. That's got to go. We've got to let it go, right? To have this beautiful connection that we all so deeply desire. So, and that always starts within us. Neil, if I'm over, let me know. I don't know if I am.
You are over, but we're flowing with it today, you know? So do you want to just spend maybe a couple more minutes just closing it out?
Thank you. I had that feeling. I was like, I think I might be over. Yeah, I just want to say, do your inner work. Remember to play. One of the things that I didn't bring up so much, because I always bring it up in all the other presentations, is playing and joy are highly, highly impactful for connection and contact, channeling even. So get in that play state as often as possible. That's not just to help you connect with them. It's to help you feel good within your own self, right? And that raises our vibration. If you're not in a space to play and you force yourself to play, it might work, right? Or it might be a calling to do a little bit of inner work and figure out, what am I experiencing right now, right? So I just want to say thank you to each and every one of you. And you are so loved. You are so loved. We are all so deeply grateful for you. And the way I see us is that we are all masters, just remembering that we are masters. So there's not, if you are brand new on your journey or you've been doing this for decades and decades, there's no real difference between us, guys. Seriously. We all come in with these amazing specializations and masteries, and we all have a particular piece of this puzzle. You've come here for a reason. You have purpose. You're important, right? And this is a symphony on a mass scale that we're doing together. So thank you for being. Thank you for being part of the Portal to Ascension community. I invite you into Ascension Catalysts to come and join our community and collaborate and co-create with us. And yeah, check out BridgetReneeHoliday.com. I am sort of in the process of renovating my website a little bit, one at a time, one page at a time. So it's not very cute right now, but you can see the services that I offer. And I do have some new services that I'm really excited about, some new quantum hypnosis services that I'll be launching officially tomorrow, the first of many. So thank you, Neil. I love you, brother. You are
Love you.
such a beautiful soul. You guys, Neil is exactly how he is on here. Like, some people will ask, but he is. He's amazing. You'll love him. Mm-hmm.
Everything you said was so on point. I mean, we can honestly just have another 30-minute conversation about everything you shared. But I just want to just like share a couple of key points. You know, play and joy. That's literally my theme this year. I shared in the beginning that I honestly take life too seriously sometimes. I take myself too seriously, and it's not been serving me. You know, and ultimately I do this work to create a life where we can have joy and be in joy, right? Mm-hmm. So why wait for that opportunity when we have so many opportunities around us every moment to really embrace that, right? Mm-hmm. And you said make the unconscious conscious, basically, is like summarizing a lot of what you said. And I also loved the galactic, the thing that we've had a conversation about a few times. Maybe you can just have a 1 minute talk about it some more. Was the galactic speciesism, you know, getting over. I really particularly love connecting with you because we have this conversation a lot about beings that don't look like us, and we might start by having interaction with beings that do look like us. But there's such a wide variety of experiences out there, and it's almost like Earth is a kind of like a test to see if that will happen. And I feel we're trying to, and there's a lot of like friction between it all. But ultimately, when we realize that we're all interconnected, we know this, that we're all interconnected, and we realize that we all basically want the same things. That I feel is the foundational element for us to get over our differences, whether it comes to color and all that, right?
Yeah, it's going to be a huge shift in the world, like, and can have a bit of like upheaval attached to it, like that because so many people pull that into their identity, right? And they don't even recognize that it's like we receive programming in almost every country about this, right? And it's ancestral too. It's not just like our generation, right?
Mhm.
So this is some deep rooted stuff sometimes, right? And imagine if it's happening here, it's probably happening in other places too, right? So we've
Yeah.
experienced it on multiple levels and layers. And we come here. One of the things my team always talks about is part of what we do here is we express in those frequencies, right? Those concepts that have happened in other places, and we shift how we're able to perceive it, like all the different angles, so to speak, right?
Right.
So when we can really do that within our own consciousness, we're diffusing that within our collective, right? And that
Yeah.
will help with the galactic. There's not a part of this human experience that isn't connected to our to making contact or ascension and contact. It's like it's a progression of consciousness, right?
Right. Exactly.
Mhm.
Beautiful, Bridget. Do you want to share really quick where people can find out more about you? You also have a show. I think you're still doing your podcast show as well. Keep forgetting the name of the platform.
So Clubhouse, we've kind of moved over to a private community from that, but you
Hmm.
can still find us on Clubhouse in Awake and Ascending. But most of what we're doing now is in Ascension Catalyst. It's actually .org. I think I put .com. No, it's .com. Never mind. I'm thinking of Portal to Ascension. I'm getting excited. But yeah, ascensioncatalyst.com. Sorry, you can find us there and come and connect with us. And yeah, I do have several things that I'm doing, but that's my main focus right now is that you, of course, here in Portal to Ascension and Conscious Awakening Network with Sheila Seppi, who you guys love each other. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Bridget, thank you so much. I really love and appreciate you. I wanted to start the year with you being a part of this. You mean that much to me. And what all the insight that you have, the regression that you gave me has been really life changing. And everything that you said today is just on point with where I'm feeling as well. So thank you for everything.
thank you, Neil. I love you. Thank you
Love you.
for all these beautiful opportunities to share in the world
Hmm.
too. I
See you
appreciate it.
at the Starbucks conference in a couple of weeks.
I am so excited.
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
It's going to be
Talk to you
epic, you
soon.
guys. Love you.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
All right, everybody. So thank you again to Bridget, and we are in Althea. And I had the schedule a little off today, and Geraldine's in the room, so I'm just going to let her know that Geraldine, you'll be on in about 10 minutes. Yesterday was so exhausting that my brain is just coming together right now, fully waking up. So Geraldine will be on in 10 minutes because I wanted to show just a few slides um, on basically a little bit more on how to prepare for ET contact and what kind of abilities are going to be coming online. We had Trish Osborne, but she's not answering my messages, so I think she got the times wrong, the dates wrong for the event, so unfortunately she won't be here. But she will be here on the Ultimate Star Beings Conference, which is going to be on January 12th, and I'm going to show you that in a little bit. So let's get into these slides here, and then we're going to have Geraldine on. And this presentation, you should be able to see this. There we go. All right, so this presentation is for my Galactic Origins presentation that I've kind of done different pieces of at different points on Portal to Ascension. I have the whole entire presentation as well on our YouTube. And this part of it is pretty much what is going to be happening with us, what abilities we have in order for us to prepare our consciousness for interaction with galactic civilizations. But first of all, even Bridget spoke about this, and she said they're not going to just land on the White House lawn, right? Well, why won't they land on the White House lawn, firstly, right? And why do we not see, if we have UFOs and light ships all around us, and we're the biggest light show in the universe, like myself and so many other people are saying, why don't we see them everywhere? And the answer to that, from my perspective and many others, is it's a frequency game. A lot of these beings are vibrating at frequencies that aren't in the perceivable bandwidth of how we perceive reality. We perceive it with a specific frequency of what we can visualize when it comes to the color spectrum. We only hear certain frequencies, we only smell certain frequencies. All of our senses are within this limited bandwidth range. When it comes to dimensions, these are different harmonic octaves of a frequency. And when we exist in these other dimensions, we're unable to consciously perceive what is going on beyond that. So these beings, many of them do reside in these frequencies, and that's the whole concept of us shifting into a higher dimension, us going to a reality where the universe is populated, that we get to see these beings, we get to see these craft, we get to interact with them, communicate with them. And because it's a frequency game, the only way to really get to a point where we can do that is to shift our frequency. And something I like to say is, when we shift our frequency, we will see. Now, on Earth, at this point, we have advanced technology that hasn't been disclosed to humanity, right? And that's coming out now. What are these craft? Some of them are ET, some of the reverse engineered craft. There's technologies. There's many technologies that we use in day-to-day life that could possibly have been reverse engineered from UFOs or some other extraterrestrial technology that's been discovered, and that isn't even fringe anymore. This is a discussion between governments even. And then there's the advanced human tech. There's two roads that we can go down. We can either go down a pathway of complete external technology, or we can go down a pathway of the internal technology and have the external technology support the internal. There's been stories about Maldek, Mars, Atlantis. There's stories about the external Merkaba, where after a fall from grace, if you will, and a lowering in frequency and consciousness, that beings started looking externally for solutions. And by doing that, neglecting the internal technology we had and relying too much on the external technology. This is at the crossroads we're at. I'm hopeful because I realize that we're in an upturn in consciousness, and ultimately we're going to cultivate that inner work and inner technology, plus the position of our solar system in a galaxy, the bow shock from the galaxy, and our position in relation to the galactic disk, which is the milk of the Milky Way galaxy. All those things are in support of a shift in consciousness. So these things are inevitable. How we get there, if we go kicking or screaming, that is up to us. So we know these beings exist, and we know we cannot perceive them directly because we know that frequencies exist outside our range. But what's the next step? We're creating technology to perceive and travel to those realities, yes. We can create machines that can assist, but we're not learning the potential in our own bodies to be able to tap into these realities. Ancient scriptures have spoke about celestial beings, even craft they experience when in a state of consciousness, utilizing things like meditation, yoga, plant medicine, more. And what are those things? What does meditation, yoga, and all those other modalities do? They're frequency modalities. They're ways to harmonize and shift our consciousness, which shifts our own vibratory frequency that puts us into a reality where we're able to perceive and even channel beings. Even channeling. The definition of channeling, to oversimplify it, is one, even the lower and higher is a construct of Earth, and it's not really a good way to explain this. Or in order to simplify it, let's say a higher dimensional being lowers their vibration to match the frequency of a person on Earth that is raising their vibration, and then they get to a place where the vibrations lock, creating an exchange of awareness and information, right? And that's a consciousness frequency shift. And that in itself is first contact. Bridget was speaking about how that we're basically making the unconscious conscious. We're unconsciously communicating with these beings now. What will happen when we become conscious? Also, that will be connected to us healing amnesia. The ancient scriptures speak about these beings. I've already said that. Some humans were just connected enough to Earth to perceive. So you probably met some of these people, and I have a lot of them on Portal to Ascension, that they were just born tapped in, right? Born in communication, seeing beings when they were younger. So a lot of people have been born and raised at these times with this information and awareness, based or with the ability to perceive these realities. Let's talk about the human DNA. Less than 2% of our DNA produces proteins. The rest, which is 98.5% of DNA sequence, is what they call junk DNA. Many, and this is from Discovery Magazine, many of the junk sections do have important roles, including regulating how DNA is transcribed and translated from there into proteins. If protein coding sequence are the notes of a symphony, then some of the non-coding sequences acts like the conductor, influencing the pace and repetitions of the masterpiece, basically describing our DNA strands and the extra junk, so-called junk DNA, as a harmonic symphony, and the ones that are dormant basically are the conductors of the information. So they're getting into an understanding now that actually our junk DNA does have a role, right? This was only a few years ago. So basically there's been an update in genetics, and junk DNA isn't really junk. And if you're a geneticist and you're really coming up to this new level of awareness, you start understanding that, oh, actually they have roles that we didn't know that they had. Scientists say, or maybe they're just coming online. Scientists say that junk DNA might just be understood genetic material, and there does seem to be some within that junk DNA that's dormant, that's there, but doesn't realize, is it being used, is it not? So could it be when our DNA is fully activated, it creates a frequency shift that allows us to perceive other realities? Could we have limitless human potential? Is this some very advanced simulation, holographic creation, right? Case in point on that one, you're not solid matter, you're vibrating frequency, you're vibrating energy. Why do I perceive you as solid? Why is my webcam solid? Why is this computer solid? Why is this desk made out of wood? If on the subatomic level, everything is vibrating. Is this some very advanced cosmic code? And are we the players in the game? And are we not just the players in the game? You know, like you might have heard me say this before, we're actors on a stage that forgot we're acting, right? We forgot we're acting. But then we also forgot we're the directors of the play as well. So the first stage of us becoming conscious and awake is us realizing we are actors on this stage. And the second role is realizing we're the directors and the script writer, and we can change the script. And changing the script is changing the code. And that is when we get to a limitless human potential. And we tap into a range of powers and gifts that you would think is just out of a fairy tale or some sci-fi movie, such as tapping into a Merkaba light body. Merkaba is Egyptian for Mer, light, Ka, soul, Ba, body, light, soul, body. It's basically a star tetrahedron around our body. The etheric body, mental body, astral body, and emotional body are all aspects of this. When activated, one can transcend space and time, or even travel the cosmos through simultaneous time, everything existing at once. The light body could literally be our electromagnetic field. So we're made out of subatomic particles. The Earth's made of subatomic particles. The sun is. All physical reality has subatomic particles. These subatomic particles and then that constitute the atoms vibrate. This creates an electromagnetic field around everything. Everything has an aura because of it. The Earth has an aura that protects us from harmful radiation from the sun, from other stars, from solar flares, right? Without it, we wouldn't be able to survive. So, and that's the subatomic energy on Earth creating that. So we too have that. And my theory, I guess, is that could our Merkaba light body actually be connected to our aura, which is our electromagnetic field? It's known as the chariot of the soul, the Merkaba, and assists in the ascension process. And then, of course, astral travel would be another thing. an intentional out-of-body experience that assumes the existence of a soul or consciousness called an astral body that is separate and connected to the physical body and capable of traveling outside throughout the universe. So these are things that people do already, but we're going to be able to do more and more. What happens when we stop using external technology, or we don't use external technology solely, but we also use our own technology? Well, we tap into our Merkaba, we start astral traveling, we go and visit planets within our consciousness, in our waking state and our sleeping state. We activate the 12 chakra system, right? Which then taps into the 13th, which is the void, and lodges us into data sets of information. Each chakra is access to a dimension. When we tap into these chakras, we then access a data set of awareness that exists within that. What may have not been done before, or maybe might be part of the test of Earth, is how can we remain physical beings but tap into these 12 dimensions? Some may say different numbers, but let's say these 12 dimensions of information, awareness, galactic history, supernatural powers, cosmic understanding, all of that, while we still exist within the physical body. And can we do that in a fifth dimensional reality that we're moving into? There's also the humming effect, chanting. We have our own tools. So what I'm getting at here is these are things to prepare. If you want to know how you can prepare, Merkaba, tap into your Merkaba light body, understand your DNA and how to activate it. Astral traveling, the 12 chakra system, harmonizing these frequencies, the humming effect, chanting. I like to jokingly say, we are our own biggest tool. Sound instruments that we have around the earth, many of them were designed to mimic what we could first do with a human voice. We have all the power we need to harmonize in ourselves and tap into our innate gifts and abilities. We have 3 brains, mind, heart, gut. Each one can be activated through sound, and we can move the energy to wherever we want. Hopefully I'll do some chanting workshops this year on Portal to Ascension. They never really did well with turnout, so I stopped doing them. But if you get an email, I'm telling you now, if you want to sign up for that and really do some deep chanting work, that's also fun and not boring because we go do all different types of stuff. We're going to be doing that. And so chanting, chakra seed sounds, the vowels, A, E, I, O, U, and that's a whole other presentation of when vowels were introduced to humanity and how there were sacred symbols that were designed to keep the conscious of the planet at a certain level, right? They open different chakras. You can chant them, do a full breath, breathe out, chant the A, E, I, O, U, right? And then humming, the basic sound of just humming creates a release of NO2 through the vibration of your nasal cavity in your brain, helping with all types of ailments, keeping you in alignment, clearing mental clarity. And if you want to learn more about that, the OG pioneer of Western sound healing, I would say Jonathan Goldman, The Humming Effect. That's a great book that gives you the science of the humming effect. And I'll leave this here if you guys want to ever take a screenshot of this and try these chants. Here are the seed sounds of the bija sounds of the chakras. And you can see there, Lam, Vam, Ram, Ham, Yam, Om, and then the crown chakra is also Om. These are tools that you can take to prepare yourself for contact. But the interesting thing is that before we make contact with the external world, we need to make contact with ourselves, right? And that's what all those things I just showed you are about. The only way into another star system is going through the wormhole within you, right? Why is it that people meditate and see these beings? Why do they channel and see these beings? Why do they close their eyes and see these beings? Because through the inner portal, we're able to go to the reflected external universe. Because the external universe is not just metaphorically a reflection of the internal world, it's a literal one. And that's how we will get first contact. It will be channeling, vibratory match communication, telepathy is going to come online. Meditation helps us connect with that. There's walk-ins and hybrids on the planet that speak about it. And, Geraldine speaks about hybrids quite a lot, and DNA, so this is perfect, actually, preface to her. Healing amnesia is the ultimate goal. If we realize our past lives, our connection to source, our extraterrestrial lives, our incarnations, our interconnectedness with all that is, right? Just imagine what's possible. As I said, astral travel and out-of-body experiences, And if you can't do any of that, do not threat. The universe is supporting you at the same time. The positioning of our solar system will get us to that point. So that's just some things I wanted to share there for you about the different things that we can really tap into in order to create first contact. Beautiful. All right. So thank you for tuning into that one. And now we're going to have our last speaker for today. And before we do that, we've had a lot of energy flowing and a lot of information. Let's just take a second here, just with the theme of the new year, and just take a few breaths together. And then we'll bring on Geraldine Orozco. So I'd like to invite everybody tuning in just to take a moment. And we'll just keep silence for like 30 seconds. And just breathe at your own pace. And the next exhale, take a deep breath in. Breathe into the heart. Expand it out into the universe. All right, let's continue on. So our next presenter is Geraldine Orozco, who is a frequent flyer at Portal to Ascension, just like Bridget. And I just love Geraldine and all the information she brings. And she's also another individual that I felt must be a part of this, because the perspective that she has and how she really brings in, I would say, kind of linear sciences, but they're not really linear because they're really cosmic genetics, and then brings it into the heart-based understanding of consciousness and what's going on. So she's able to really show us through science, through evidence-based means even, how we are all interconnected and how this is a reality, that we are not alone in the universe, that our DNA is being activated, our consciousness is being activated, and also follows that up with the tools and techniques that we can use to do many and cultivate many of the things that I just showed in my presentation. So Geraldine is an intuitive DNA reprogrammer and ascension coach. In 2013, she experienced a vivid abduction from her bedroom window, where she recounts being taken on board a ship and met tall grays that introduced her to 8 of her hybrid children. The next morning, she encountered hypersensitivity to the human electromagnetic field. This discovery initiated a journey to find the truth about what happened to her. Geraldine goes deep into understanding of the purpose of Ascension with the utilization of human technology and DNA information for the ongoing harvest of energy within the intelligent universe. And let's go ahead and bring her on. I like to call Geraldine an esoteric geneticist. There we go. Hey, Geraldine.
Hi, so great to see you.
Good to see you too. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be here again, as always.
Thank you, Geraldine. I just, you know how much I appreciate you and love you so much. So I'm just happy that you said yes, and I'm excited for what you're going to share today.
Oh, it's such an honor. I'm so happy to be a part of this. It's such a great conversation so far. And as you mentioned, such an important topic to be talking about, to bridge the gap between our understanding of ET contact and how it relates to our everyday life, because there's a tremendous connection between that. Yeah, so
Right.
I'll go deep into that.
Let me just share this with you first. Like, I feel a lot of us intellectualize that we're not alone in the universe, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, but the next step is what kind of like we've been talking about in this presentation, and what you do is really getting your body and consciousness ready for it. It's not just about intellectualizing and trying to get the disclosure out there, because maybe that's a little too unbalanced and maybe more in the mind than it is in the heart, right? So it's about really how do we receive that information in the heart and open our hearts to not being alone in the universe.
Absolutely. And that's actually what I want to talk about, like the embodiment of contact. How do we actually embody that and cultivate that? Because it's not only is it for ET contact, but the ascension of the soul through this entire life experience. We're born at a time in which this is part of the package of the human experience, how you navigate the interdimensional realm. So yeah, that's what I'm going to talk
Yes.
about.
All right. Are you doing the PowerPoint or?
Yes. Let me actually share really quickly. Let's see if I can find it here. Oh, my computer. Here we go. Here. Okay, so hi everyone. Sorry about that. Let me open and share my screen. Oh, here, present. That's what it is. Okay, got it. Share screen, window, and where is it? It's not showing my window.
You should be able to share screen, entire screen, and then you can go to share and then pull it up.
Entire screen. Got it. Okay, so let's go to that one. All right. And I'm guessing you guys are seeing the entire screen.
Yep, we see it.
Okay, cool. You can see the presentation, yeah? Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, thank you so much. All right, so let's jump right in. And just really quickly, Neil, can you tell me how much time I have just so I don't...
You're the last speaker, so kind of whenever you want to close out.
Okay. All right.
Actually,
Well,
hold on a second. We see your... pull up the PowerPoint.
Yeah, this one, yeah?
Okay, yeah, there we go.
Okay. All right, guys. Okay, so I want to share some main topics with you regarding interdimensional contact. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Geraldine Orozco. I'm an epigenetic psychotherapist and a clinical hypnotherapist. I'm also an intuitive, and my intuitive abilities actually began as a result of my contact experience in 2013. And to begin, my ET contact actually was a result of sitting in meditation for a couple months, completely deprogramming belief systems, programs, deconstructing my core self down to the very observer state of neutral observation. And what that allowed for me was to open my awareness to the interdimensionality of our existence. And it was very much because of that I began to have this experience of contact, essentially, in which I was taken on board a craft, from my bedroom, and introduced by these tall grays, 7 and 8 foot grays, taken to the Pleiades, introduced to the Pleiades and to aspects of myself that were Pleiadian in simultaneous timelines, and also.
Could
Yeah.
you click start slideshow so we can see full screen?
Yeah, let me see. Hold on.
So just go to slideshow in the PowerPoint.
Yes. Got it? You got it?
Yeah, we see presenter view though.
Okay, let me, how do I change?
Display settings at the top, or yeah, maybe one of those.
Display settings. Swap.
Yeah.
How about there?
There we go. Perfect.
Okay, awesome. All right. So, so essentially, as a result of this contact experience, I was introduced to little children that looked very much like me, but also were a combination of other species, greys, reptilians, different kinds of species. And essentially, what that did was it completely broke my paradigm, because I hadn't believed in aliens or had that conceptual understanding that we are sharing this realm with other organisms that don't look like humans. And it was just very shocking to experience that. Furthermore, understand that there were children as a result of my contact experiences. So there was a major learning curve that had to take place from 2013. And as a result of the contact experience, I experienced this ability to see interdimensionality. And I'm so sorry, I'm going to go back here to this other, because I want to share something with you. But the concept of contact is something that has been presented since the very beginning of time. I mean, we are aware of interdimensional contact. We are aware of the beings of the sky coming down, descending, and interacting with ourselves. And the stories of the divine immaculate conception with these angelic beings, or these beings that descend from the sky, that essentially create new life forms, new humanoids that are a combination of God and man. And essentially, through our understanding of Christ consciousness, understanding that, well, we are that manifestation of God. We are essentially a fractal of that God self within our body. And we hold within us a key ranges of multidimensional aspects of ourselves in which we are navigating both the physical and non-physical realms, right? So the beauty of this is that we have been aware of contact since the very beginning of time. And the concept of disclosure really is something that has to do more with the government and these ideas that we are waiting for these centralized systems of control to tell us that everything that we've been experiencing for centuries is something that is real. So, maybe we need to shift away from waiting for the government to disclose or officially say, yes, what you're experiencing is real, to something a little bit more of an awareness, a deepening with your own internal connection and your own experiences, validating those experiences and not being afraid, especially of those experiences. And the reason why is that what has been hidden by these shaman practices from all around the world for centuries is that our ability to master navigation and lucidity in waking state, number one, is going to wake you up from the unconscious state in which we exist in this holographic matrix, right? Our everyday interaction, our relationships, our existence in everyday life is actually created as a holographic projection from the internal. And all of those projections are rooted in your core belief systems and perceptions. So the fact that we are truly masters of the things that we are creating is a truth that we need to understand deeply, both energetically, emotionally, and with this physical constructs, learning how to master the physical construct. And so let's take a look at what that looks like exactly. What your multidimensional body looks like is like this. When I work with clients and I see the body, this is what we're looking at. We're looking at the physical body here in the center, which has their energy centers of the chakra system, and around and within you, within your field, within the realms of your body, within the dimensional layers of your body, exist, we mostly have access to 24 dimensions of our body. And those 24 dimensions are connected to chakra centers, which are energy centers. They are portals and vortices of information, of data that are processing, and we're moving in and out of this information constantly throughout our day, from the moment we wake up to the moment we go to sleep. And then there's another octave of this frequency awareness when you're sleeping. So most ET contact happens for people in dream state. The moment that they leave and detach from the physical body is when they begin to interact and navigate this entire map of the subconscious mind. And within that is an architecture in which we find fractals of ourselves in all of these different planes. Okay, so our contact, first of all, our ability to access this memory. This is the ancestral memory. We call it ancestral memory because it's an inherited accumulation of historic experiences that we access through the physical body, but they are available to us in the present moment. Okay, so like when you have a hypnotherapy, for example, which is what I do with my clients, I take them back to access some of these past lives. They remember sometimes future lives or aspects of themselves, and they begin to recognize these aspects of themselves. And this is, in essence, the contact with interdimensional aspects of ourselves. And our ability to access these memories very much has to do with our vibrational frequency. So However, many of these chakra centers, energy centers that we bring into a harmonic balance allows us to access the information that dwells within them. So this is something that is really important when we talk about communication and navigation, because as Neil said earlier, it is absolutely 100% about the vibrational frequency. Okay, and so let's talk about really quickly, how do we have access to information that, as you saw within your field, you have past lives, but you also have ET aspects of yourself, ET fragments of yourself, gray parts of you, Arcturian parts of you, Lyran, all of these different species that we name based on their form through our own human filter. We translate into an understanding of these beings that are actually organisms that are bringing higher consciousness into our awareness. But not everyone can interact with these beings. It really has to do with the vibrational frequency that we hold. And why that is because interdimensional contact is very much from the inside out. It is from the inside of our internal universe that we are navigating this universal construct. We are told by science, by the physics, that everything is outside of us, external to us, the different planets, the different species, the different aliens, the UFOs, but actually everything is happening internal to you. And we can understand this by going very deep into the understanding of the origin of the creation of this holographic system as it manifests into this human Earth matrix, essentially. And the origin of life forms, since the origin of time, since the first source refracts itself, breathes life into other organisms, from there began this process of unfoldment of consciousness into the deepest separation. Okay, so from the whole self, from the one, from the all, descends all of these fractal aspects of itself into separation. And so what we are navigating in our dream time, what we are navigating in this higher, bigger picture of our lives, past lives, future lives, are essentially all of these refractions of source that are within ourselves. Essentially, it's us. We are navigating levels and dimensions of our own self. So this is very important to understand because there is an order. There is a beautiful self-organizing order to this information. And when you understand that order, you understand why humans operate the way that they do. In the evolutionary cycle of this infinite potential refracting into all of these fractals of experience, we hold that model in our body. We have, from the most primal aspect of our humanity to the most advanced technology in our body, which is the higher faculties, our intuition, right? And the primal being our survival our survival mechanisms of our body. Now, all of these different biological aspects of ourselves are a mirror and a fractal of the different vibrational expressions that we can also see in the universe manifested as these beings, as ET extraterrestrial species that we encounter. And even in our own biology, the way that we are evolving as an organism, from the moment that we begin our conception as one cell, one tiny little cell, beginning to multiply into organisms, we hold within the gestation process of the human body this evolutionary cycle, the model of refraction of source as it comes into the manifestation of the physical body. And all of the species, all of this information that we hold, all the different species that exist within this multiverse, we have encoded essentially within our DNA. Okay, so it's in our biology and the architecture of our physical body, from the parts of our brain, the different parts and elements of our brain to the different elements of our body, from our primal instincts to our most advanced telepathic, remote viewing abilities to really access and navigate this holographic construct is encoded. And this information is a product of vibrational frequency. It is this abilities that we have and these different faculties that we're learning are a product of the cultivation of frequency over many generations. So if you have a lot of intuitive people in your family lineage, most of those people are having interdimensional contact, because the cultivation of intuition is the ability to see the non-physical realm. And so what happens with these incredible bloodlines historically is that we pass down these experiences, these contact experiences. Our ancestors have been having them, grandmother, great-grandmother been having them, mother been having them, we've been having them. And it isn't until we begin to communicate and express these experiences that we have in dream state, and also some people have them in waking state, to be able to translate what we're interacting with. But literally, we have all of these patterns of information encoded within the genetic construct of your DNA. And what happens is that the more DNA that is activated within us, and what does that mean exactly? So the more intuitive that the organism, the person, the human, activates their higher faculties, the more DNA that becomes activated, the more ancestral memory that becomes available to them. Okay, so what that means is that at a very early age, when they begin to, we have a lot of hybrids right now. We are all hybrids, first of all. I want to mention that as a result of what I just talked about earlier, this evolutionary progression of ourselves, that we hold within the genetic construct of ourselves all of these species as a memory. And the hybrid children that are being born at this time through the many waves of octaves of vibrational collective frequency are that have more of that memory available to them. So they're born with more of that memory. They're born with more abilities. They can see, they have a vision, and they navigate dream time very lucidly, which means that they remember their dreams very well. So we have to, for a lot of us that are waking up consciousness right now, we have to open up that memory. And that is usually the hardest part for the human at this time, because when we begin to encounter beings like these on the screen, obviously we get scared, and it's very hard for us to process emotionally and physically, energetically in the body. Number one, the vibrational frequency that we are feeling emanating from these beings in our dreams, but also this the paradigms and the constructs that we have built within our mind to understand what is possible in this world. And that is the destruction of the matrix, essentially. The destruction of the limitation of potential is something that is essential to communication with interdimensional beings. Because since the beginning of time, we are navigating interdimensionally with these organisms. And one of the most powerful aspects of the human that we've seen, that's been proven to us through the many generations of seeing, highly advanced beings like Jesus, for example, all of the incredible deities and advanced humans on this earth that cultivate their higher faculties, always talk about how they are able to become lucid in dream time and then be able to train for death, right? So all of these non-physical experiences and navigations. So our DNA is activated the more we remember and the more we experience. But that DNA and that genetic structure comes into harmony, health and well-being. So like once you activate your intuition and you start having these contacts, the key is not to get freaked out or not to get afraid, not to get blocked, not to fear the unknown. This is extremely important for contact and for communication, because the moment that we start contracting our energy, our fields, and our trust in ourselves and the ability to be holding ourself in any potential circumstance or experience that we can encounter interdimensionally, we begin to block entire universes of ourselves. And actually, what I notice is that this causes blockages in the body tremendously, and essentially ends up sometimes turning into illness. As with everything in this universe, the human that lives in resistance and survival always ends up eliminating their organism, right? Because it becomes ill and it's not in alignment with the vibrational frequency of the collective. But more than that, let me take it to another step. DNA in itself is a braiding system of harmony, symmetry, and harmony. Okay, so we want to create harmony within the body, which means regulated nervous system, which means learning how to be okay emotionally with the unknown. And this entire construct not only grows gray matter in the brain and down the spine, but allows you to become a conduit of source, which allows you to navigate higher octaves of these frequencies in harmony. So the key is that when we look at families of contactees, for example, which I work with a lot, what we find is that down those generations, people that cultivate intuitive abilities and honor those abilities, they usually have a really ability to integrate the higher self with the physical. And so this is where we're going into right now at this moment in 2024, moving forward 10 years ahead. We have to learn how to sustain within the body higher bands of frequency, which means that we are growing gray matter in the brain, down the spine, cultivating the nervous system, and accessing these memories that activate DNA. And it's the holographic system of DNA that we are activating. What's in the holographic system of DNA? Well, it's all of these out-of-body experiences that you're having, okay? And some of you are having physical contact experiences. It's exactly the same thing. But the key is, and something that I see happening a lot with people, with contactees and experiencers, is that the moment they start to embody fear, they block their ability to navigate these dimensions. The key is that we embody 0 point, neutral 0 point of observation, in which when at the time that we are navigating waking state, because when you open your vision, you will be seeing constantly things. You'll be seeing what looks like ghosts. You're going to be seeing interdimensional beings, energies. You're going to be seeing ETs around you all the time, everywhere, because you open your vision to understanding how interdimensional we really are. In fact, we are constantly moving in and out of dimensions all the time. So the navigation of these dimensional planes is the mastery of the physical body. You are a frequency, and the more that you come into symmetry, which means that harmonizing organically mind, body, and soul through your energy centers and the cultivation of, number one, your emotional body. Okay, so number one thing that happens in ET contact is that you come encounter with these beings, and most of these beings, they're going to want to remove any heavy negative emotions out of your body. They don't want you to come into that heavy negative emotion, because the moment that you do, you're going to come out of resonance with them, and it's going to shift the entire experience for you. So managing your emotions, the mastery of your emotional body, is what will shift your perception of these experiences. And for many of you waking up consciousness, coming into awareness of consciousness, you might be coming from very traumatic, seemingly traumatic experiences. And another thing I want to mention is, do not judge these experiences by the same ethics and ideas of the human construct. Because why? Number one, our understanding of ethics, first of all, for the majority of us, are pretty much inverted. And we don't really know that yet until we go deep into the internal shadow work, where we begin to understand how inverted our perceptions are of this reality. Our concepts of love are inverted, concepts of free will, concepts of truth. So we have to really dig within ourselves to kind of take those inversions and invert them, bring them back into the harmonious truth in alignment with the vibrational frequency of the earth and the collective, in order for you to ground yourself into the physical vessel. ET contact is not just about leaving the body, it's about integrating in the physical body these frequencies and this awareness, so that your navigation becomes fluid and integrated. Okay, so we shouldn't have compartmentalized parts of ourselves. The person that shows up at work to the cash register is the same person that in dream time is navigating these realms. And what that does is that grows your energy body. The cultivation of your emotions in a neutral state grows your energetic field, grows gray matter in the brain through meditation. It's incredibly important to do that, because as we grow gray matter in the brain through meditation, we are literally growing the body to be able to sustain higher bands of frequency each time, which means that when we enter into dream state, we're going to navigate all kinds of interdimensional realms, come encounter with beings. And what this will do is it will help us refine our discernment. Okay. And discernment is extremely important for this work that we're coming into in the next few years. ET contact is not just about connecting with some beings. You need to understand your agreement with who you're interacting with. You need to, because just like humans, me and you come into encounter with one another, we have an agreement. We are in resonance with something. So nothing is random. You don't come into contact with certain species and beings just by an off chance. And your understanding, integration, and alchemization, transmutation of lower agreements into higher octaves of consciousness, awareness, and free will and sovereignty is the number one key to the navigation of interdimensionality. And you are cultivating yourself as an intergalactic, interdimensional organism. And the only way to expand your field into that level is to build really powerful trust with yourself. Really powerful trust in yourself, in your experiences, and to respect and honor them, so that you can discern actively what you are doing in these interactions. Because the discernment that you experience, there is no such thing as just seeing beautiful, amazing realms, worlds, beings, magical technologies, advanced civilizations. It's way more than that. You as a soul are in a process of ascension. And so your awareness of why you're interacting with these beings is going to help your soul for the moment that you leave the body. You are aware of all these interdimensional navigations and what you are here as this sovereign co-creator to do. So we are constantly co-creating with the universe, with ourselves. And a lot of you will find that you interact with councils, almost done. And actually, there's a very powerful connection between councils and DNA that actually councils, if we look at the different members of those councils, it is it's a holographic projection of everything that is a part of your genetic construct. And so this is a really powerful way for you, that if you're in communication with councils, if you're working in councils is just groupings of these beings, and they are organized, you will notice, by vibrational frequency. You hold that in your genetic lineage, and you want to understand, what is your connection? How are you serving them, or how is the interaction between you? And the reason for that is that, remember, first of all, you create everything, okay? Everything is your creation. But your ability to navigate this contact really depends on your ability to discern the limitations, discern where there are limitations, where there are blockages in yourself, and to understand what you're creating. Because a lot of the exchanges that are happening, remember, we live in a duality right now. in this three-dimensional realm, and the purpose is to experience that contrast, but with that contrast comes exchanges. So we always want to understand, what are we exchanging? The soul, which is infinite potential, is the most important currency of this multiverse. And the soul becomes refracted when we have children. When we create anything, we are infusing our life force into it. So the intention behind our creations are extremely important. And the more that you become aware of yourself and master your body, the more you'll be able to discern, and also, in a way, infuse your creations with your highest intention. So this is really important when it comes to hybrids, when it comes to your own children here on Earth, and being able to hold space for them when they're having contact. So please open conversations with your children. Try to have conversations about their dream state to understand what is happening with them. We are all shamans in a sense. We are all interdimensional, intergalactic beings that hold within our genetic construct the keys to navigating these higher dimensional realms. And our discernment will allow us to bring forth into the earth and anchor key information that only you have access to, because your genetic history. So most people have certain species in their family lineage. Some of you might resonate more with Lyrans, with Arcturians, with Pleiadians, and most of you have those predominant genetic strains in your lineage, which means you've been working with these families for many generations, maybe even since the origin of time. But do not get tied up with any one aspect of yourself. That's another very important thing for contact and communication. Keep moving. You are everything. You are all and everything. And you have to evolve through all of these fractals of yourself, because that is the activation of DNA. Okay. And you have to discern very quickly what is your agreement, what is being exchanged, and for what reason, so that you can navigate your soul freely with free will through this multiverse. So I think I will stop right there. I hope I'm not terribly late. Let's see here. I will stop sharing. Yeah. So Neil, are we okay with time?
Yeah, we're good. Did you want to share something else?
No, just to finish up, I just want to mention that for this contact that we're doing, I would love for you to expand your awareness of interdimensional contact. The focus is not to just have really cool experiences with interdimensional beings. The goal is that you as a soul can master yourself, control your emotions, your judgments, and your awareness of yourself through all unknown experiences. That cultivation grows the body energetically. That mastery over yourself, which allows you to anchor more source through yourself. And that's the healing, not just of yourself and your ancestral lineage, but the entire world, this entire construct. Because as you wake up memory and raise your vibrational frequency and activate your DNA, you are waking up ancestral dormant parts of yourself that require healing and integration. This is why we are here to experience all of these things. So with that, I just want to thank you so much again for having me. It was such an honor, and thank you so much.
Thanks, Geraldine. It's always an honor to have you. I'd love for you just to, as you close out here, just to share, maybe because you said, you spoke about mastery, and it's really about being the master of our own consciousness, even our own urges and desires, and just like harnessing that energy. And what, often I've heard people, we talk about sovereignty, and it's interesting that we used to call, or we still do, kings and queens the sovereign, right? It was like they were the sovereign ones and we weren't. We were the peasants. And the sovereign is the ruler or the monarch. So technically, sovereignty means that we need to become our own ruler and our own master,
Exactly
right? Maybe you can leave us with some tools and techniques on how we start that process.
Okay, absolutely. Number one, daily meditation. Meditation is absolute foundation. You cannot get away with it. And there is only one meditation that is absolutely essential. And closing your eyes and training your body to sit still. Please, please practice the stillness to bring your body into the 0 point. This is not just a mental, psychological thing or imaginary thing. It is the cultivation of the architecture of your body in order to withstand interdimensional navigation, okay? Because you are a Merkaba, okay? And the Merkaba is the cultivation of your energy centers, redirecting from the depletion of your energy into the physical material realm and redirecting it into the higher faculties. That's the Merkaba light body. And you will see the 2 points. The bottom of that Merkaba is closed here at the bottom because you are redirecting the material energy, the physical, creative life force in the physical into the higher faculties. Okay, so that cultivation in Vipassana, I strongly invite you to try Vipassana meditation. I grew up with hyper ADHD as a child, so I know as a fact that if you do have those things, you can meditate. It just takes some practice and cultivating, training the mind. Okay. The other part is train your intuition. Okay. And the one way to train the intuition, use your intuition 24/7. Okay. The moment you wake up, that you begin to build trust with yourself. Okay. Integrity, spiritual, emotional, physical integrity. Are the words that you're speaking truth? Are there masks that you're wearing? Okay, do your actions match your words, your intentions? Because that confusion will always take you into confusing experiences in dream time and when you're navigating with interdimensional beings. Okay, and finally, the physical body is an organism of cultivation. So your cultivation of your sexual energy also is really important. Redirecting that incredibly powerful creative life force back into the body for regeneration. So with the hybridization program, this is a very, very important element of that. Okay, so learn about what that means, cultivation of sexual energy, transmutation. And in the same way that we're learning how to master those powerful life forces, comes the mastery of your emotional body. Okay, must master your emotions. The control of your emotions is the mastery over the nervous system, which is the mastery over the holographic projection. And that means everything, waking state and interdimensional. So there's some tools. You can learn a lot about that on my YouTube channel. And also, if you want to work with me, you can visit my website at geraldineorozco.com. I have really great programs that I'm launching this year, including daily meditations that you guys can join me. So, and also courses on how to do all this. So definitely check out my website.
Beautiful, Geraldine. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Words can't express my gratitude for you, and all the things that we've done together. And I'm really, really excited for just at the beginning of the year. I'm glad we started it out together and everything that we're going to create this year together and separately, just contributing further towards this shift, So I appreciate you.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Love you, brother.
Love
And I'll
you.
see you soon. Thank you so much, everybody that's here. Much love. Bye.
Okay, see you soon. Bye. And there we have it, everybody. Thank you so much to Althea, Light Codes. You can find her on Instagram. To Bridget Renee Holiday. You can find her at ascensioncatalyst.com. Geraldine Orozco, geraldineorozco.com. Thank you for everybody for contributing today. And I'm really happy. We had a good turnout. You have like 75, 80 people on YouTube tuning in at any given time. Good amount of people signed up for this. You do get unlimited replay access. If you're on YouTube and you want the full presentation, go to portaltoascension.org, upcoming events. I'm going to show you right now. Sign up there. And I also have it pinned right there in the top of the comments. So check it out, sign up. You'll get an email so you can watch it back on the website, plus the hundreds of hours of free presentations, as you can see from this ticker in the bottom. Sign up at pta.org, portaltoascension.org, and access hundreds of hours of free presentations. So that's available to you. We had a shift where we created a new website, but it wasn't done properly. Some things weren't working. So now we're about in the final phases of the launch of the full entire site, which is going to happen this week, hopefully, because I want to launch it before the Ultimate Star Beings Conference, which I'm going to show you right now. And just checking the comments. Go ahead and drop some comments. How you feeling? What the experience was for you? Anything that you want to share? Thank you, Tamara. Tamara is in the room. She's going to be an MC and a speaker at the Starbeams conference coming up. Bridget will also be there. Actually, all the speakers today are going to be at this 4-day epic free conference called the Ultimate Starbeams event. And let's see here. Let's get the website up, shall we? So you should be seeing this now. All right. So here's the website. This is the halfway mark on the website. As I said, we're going to be launching the whole new kind of design coming up in a few days. So I just want to walk you through it. For all of you who are obviously in the StreamYard room, you guys are already members. And don't forget, guys, you have access to like 3,000 hours of presentations. Please utilize it. We're going to be stepping up our game in regards to the way things are formatted, categorized, search engine, all that stuff with the new launch. So it's going to be way more efficient for you to use. You have a watch list. You can add to your watch list. You can watch later. You can come back to your presentation and pick up from where you left off. You'll have the bios, the description, the date of the recording. All that stuff is there for you. I looked at all the major platforms, the streaming platforms. I took all the best things that I saw, and we coded it ourselves on this site that's about to launch. For those of you who aren't a part of our email list and our community, we have around 35,000 people in the community right now. And you can go to portaltoascension.org, sign up here, name, email, and you'll get an email sent to your inbox with your username and password. And then you can click watch now. We'll give you the link, and you'll go and watch and start browsing through the presentations there and taking a look at them. And if you sign up for this event, see, you just log in here, or maybe I'll show you. You just log in. Again, this is going to change a bit, but like you can see here, my events. So these are all the ones that if you paid for events or sign up for free events like this one, they will show up here. You watch now, you add to your watch list, right? And then all videos that are free are here. Hundreds of videos, guys. And look at all these categories: awakened consciousness, conscious music, energy work, sacred geometry, sound and vibration, spiritual development, true world history, ancient technology, Asian history, Earth history, Egyptian history, galactic history, history of the Americas, ETs and UFOs, conspiracies, experiencers, advanced technology, channeling, UFO disclosure, extraterrestrials, health and wellness, series, documentaries, interviews. And again, the design is going to change, but the understanding of how this works is going to be better. Actually, it's going to be way more user-friendly. But pretty much, you'll get your username, password, click watch now. Go ahead and bookmark the page so you can come back and use it as your alternative to Netflix, let's say. And we also have an iPhone app that's going to come out. We have an Android app that's going to come out. We have a TV app that's going to come out. We're going to have a feature where you can cast from your phone to the TV these presentations. So you don't have to hook up your HDMI cable to watch it. Literally just pull it up on your phone, click the cast button, throw it on your TV, right? As robust as we can possibly do is what we're doing. So now about how you sign up for this event that we just did, portaltoascension.org, upcoming events. And here you go, how to prepare for ET contact. Click on that, sign up. You'll get the confirmation emails, and within a couple of days, you'll get the email to watch it at the page I just showed you. On January 5th, which is on Friday this week, the first ever all-day conference dedicated to the Akashic Records. So if you want to sign up for this one, upcoming events, go ahead and sign up. And this is a good way to start out the year. We have some really amazing people here. All-day event dedicated to the Akashic Records information and awareness. It's going to be around 8 to 9 hours long. And some amazing people: Jody Sirota, Debbie Solaris, Joan of Angels, Lisa Barnett, Melissa Fake. And again, you get unlimited replay access to everything you watch. And then let me just show you. Stick around if you guys are thinking about tuning out now because we're closing out. Stick around for a few more minutes, please, because I would love to show you this event that's completely free. It's a 4-day event. Last year we did it. It was a paid event last year, right? It was 5 days last year, which is like incredibly intense, let's just say, and powerful. And now we're doing it again, but we're doing it for free. So it's Friday, January 12th to Monday, January 15th. That's 1, 2, 12, 13, 14, 15, 4 days. On January 11th, if you go to our YouTube page right now and go to the channel, you'll see that all these panels, Experience panel, Galactic Ancestry panel, Ascension panel, all for January 11th. So we have a good amount of speakers from this event going to be a part of all-day panel day on January 11th, 1/11, right? So we're going to do all-day panel day with just information, awareness, sharing insights, discussions. And then on January 12th, we go ahead and dive deep into the Ultimate Star Beings Conference, which is around 8 hours a day for 4 days, okay? And what I've noticed is some people don't sign up for events because they're like, oh, that's a long time to be committed. But don't forget to realize that you don't have to be there the whole time. Tune in, be a part of it, watch what you can, get the replays into your Watch Now page, watch it back later. This is also free. It will be on YouTube as well. It's going to be on multiple YouTubes. It'll be on my podcast. We're going to get this out to tens of thousands of people. Right now, we have 1,000 people, just under 1,000 people registered for this event, for the StreamYard room. Okay, this is not the other platforms that it'll be on too. YouTube will have more people for that. But this is 1,000 people signed up for this event. My intention is at least 2,000 people signed up, because we're going to be doing some mass meditations. We're going to be connecting with our intentions to harmonize the timelines, to create a peaceful, harmonious world, to create a world of post-disclosure in the best way possible, with harmony, peace, love, and unity, all of that. So if you want to be a part of it, just go ahead and sign up, portalascension.org, upcoming events. It's the third one there. And take a look at everything else we're doing. We've got a lot of cool stuff coming up. And I'll just show you, this is free. And if you want, you can donate as well. We have Geraldine, of course. We have Mary Rodwell, who will be there. Marissa Starseeded, Phil Gruber, Flo Karuna from Star Codes, Sandra Walter, Bridger Renee Holiday, Michelle Anderson, Alan Steinfeld is, of course, Alan is a part of the furniture at Portal to Ascension, and he's been nailed into the ground as a furniture piece, so he'll never leave. He's like literally like the rock of a lot of what I do. One of my best friends, and of course he's gonna be there, and he'll be emceeing with me. So we'll have Alan, myself, Deborah Giusti, Michelle Anderson, Joan of Angels, Tamara Richardson. We're all emceeing. Dr. Victor Furman, Anastara Maka also will be there as well, emceeing with us. So it's really fun and exciting when you have all these different people and dynamics. So again, portalascension.org, upcoming events. And you could sign up, or you can just subscribe to our YouTube channel and click the notification bell so you know when we're going live. The last thing I'm going to share is we are doing our second annual conference in Glastonbury, Portal to Ascension Conference, Glastonbury event. We did one last year in August, and now this one, September 27, 28, 29, for the actual conference. The 25th and 26th, we're doing tours of ancient Avalon, like King Arthur's Abbey, the White Springs, the Chalice Wells. We're going to be taking people around, showing them the ancient mysticism of the Celts and the Druids there. And then we go, boom, 3 days of a conference. Then we have a post-conference day on the 30th. And then we have tours on the Tuesday to the ancient stone circles that are lesser known in and around Glastonbury area of England. And here are some speakers. Laura Eisenhower will be there, Tim Tactics, Magenta Pixie, Adam Apollo, Sarah Brexman, Maria Wheatley, of course, Alan, Phil, and Joan will be there as well. And it's honestly, yeah, if I was to tell you that this event was fun, it would literally be an understatement, because it was like one of the most epic experiences ever. So hopefully some of you guys can show up there. And if you can't, go ahead and just sign up for the live stream and tune in to that as well. All right, so now we're about to close out the event, and let's close this out in a good way. Just taking a look at everybody's comments here, see if anybody wants to tune in. If you have anything to share, go ahead and share it right now. And then I'll do a poem, and we'll do a few breaths, and then we'll close this container for today. And since we've been talking about how to prepare for contact and the tools and techniques of empowerment, including activating the Merkaba, your DNA, meditation. I really loved what Geraldine shared about Vipassana, because Vipassana has been probably one of my number one, modality that has really assisted me in my own healing. I'm going to go ahead and do a poem called Empower Thyself. Let's do something fun, because I'm using this new platform where we can actually have like visuals while I'm speaking. So we're going to have a little fun with this, and we're going to go cosmic. Let's see if I can do this. All right, you should still be able to hear me. Okay, here we go. We're going to have some UFO action here, some spaceship. We're going to go visit the Mayan sites. We're going to look at the seven sisters, the Pleiades, and we're going to go through a portal. The moment draws near. For years, we've been purging all fears, letting go of the old energies, making room for the new frequencies. I know we all feel these on some level. Higher multidimensional entities, embracing our galactic families, emissaries of unconditional love. The one vibration that fits all creation like a glove. I know sometimes this incarnation can seem tough, with Masons illuminating manipulations, facing, tasting, wasting our life away. We must remember the lessons that we're here to play. Nothing external to you, to your God self you pray. There's only one speck of light, experiencing itself in multiple forms within our sight, taking us to new heights. So go against the norm, no longer conform. When one transitions, there is no reason to mourn. No scorn, take out the thorn. The crystalline children are now being born. There is no devil waiting for you with horns. There is only love. There is only love. There is only love. The vibration showering us, descending from density straight above. We must stand up and say enough and take our power back. With peace and understanding, there's no reason to attack and energize fear, as they are reflections of us. Time to trust our brothers and sisters. This is all a self-imposed test. You got the job. Put all your concerns to rest. Through the darkness, the light will firmly nest into the dimension that is next. The moment is now to resurrect the Christ consciousness. The moment is now to resurrect the Christ consciousness. The moment is now to resurrect the Christ consciousness. Take a deep breath in with your eyes open. Begin the walk through the portal, through the cosmic stargate at hyperspeed. The stars, the universe, time, space passing by you. The door is right in front of you. Walk towards it. With each step that you take, traumas, wounds, challenges, lessons, experiences that we all gained here. The experiences and the traumas that we need to release to be able to walk through this door. With each step, you get lighter and lighter. Moving closer and closer to the door. Feeling it, the pain, the struggle, the hardships melt away from your shoulders. The weight of the world is no longer on your shoulders. And then there it is, the portal to the new world, the portal to the new earth. As we look around, we see all of our cosmic family with us, all about to take the step together. We walk through the portal. We walk through the portal to Ascension, and we awaken to a greater truth. And so it is, and so it is, and so it is. All right. Thank you all. Love you very much. I'm going to go ahead and leave you with the trailer for the Portal to Ascension conference. Appreciate you. We have a lot of beautiful things in store for the rest of this year, for the rest of eternity, and we're going to keep going forward because now is the time that we've been waiting for, and it's inevitable. There's an awakening happening. There is an awakening happening. So love you guys. Here's the trailer. Hope to see some of you at the Portal Ascension at the Ultimate Star Beings Conference starting January 12th and again January 11th, all day panel day, youtube.com/Portal to Ascension. And here we go. Have a beautiful rest of your day, everybody. Thank you, everybody on the podcast, for tuning in as well. If you want to join our podcast, Portal to Ascension Radio on all platforms, you can check it out there. Take care. Blessings. Love you. Goodbye.